Ngozi's heart in Umudike Kingdom. In the lush, rolling hills of Umudike Kingdom, where the rivers whispered ancient stories and the trees stood as silent witnesses to generations of culture and tradition, there lived a woman named Ngozi. Born into a family of great influence, she was the first daughter of the respected Obina, a well-known chief in the kingdom. Ngozi had grown up amidst the wisdom of her ancestors, listening to the tales of love, honor, and resilience that had shaped her people for centuries. But there was one thing that always lingered in her heart, a longing she could not explain. She had everything a woman could desire: beauty, wealth, and a future that was secured. Yet, she had never known true love. Ngozi was in her prime, a woman of 28, radiant and full of ambition. She was known not only for her intelligence but also for her strong character and her passion for her people. She worked alongside her father in the village council, advocating for the welfare of the less privileged and preserving the customs of the kingdom. But while she was admired by all, she remained distant from the one thing she craved most: love. Her parents, though kind, often spoke of marriage in terms of duty. "You are of age now, Ngozi. The time to settle down is near," her mother would say with a knowing smile. "You have everything, my daughter, except a husband who will stand by your side." But Ngozi didn't want a husband who would simply fulfill his duty. She wanted a partner, someone who would understand the fire that burned in her heart, who would walk beside her in the fight for justice, equality, and love. She wanted someone who would challenge her, encourage her, and stand with her as they built a life together, not just someone to carry the title of a husband. One evening, during the annual festival of Umudike, the kingdom's most significant celebration, the air was thick with excitement. The festival was a time when people from all corners of the kingdom came together to celebrate the harvest, share stories, and find new beginnings. The grand dance of Umudike was about to take place, where young men and women would display their grace, strength, and passion. It was a time of joy, but for Ngozi, it was always a bittersweet reminder of what she had yet to find. As the evening grew darker, the large gathering at the village square hummed with music, laughter, and the sounds of feet stomping to the beat of the drums. Ngozi stood by the edge of the gathering, her gaze drifting over the crowd. She was caught in a moment of solitude, her thoughts far away, when suddenly, a voice broke through her reverie. "You look beautiful tonight, Ngozi." She turned to find a man standing before her, tall and confident, yet with an aura of humility that made him seem approachable. He was dressed in simple, yet elegant attire, deep indigo robes that complemented his dark, rich skin. His eyes, however, were what drew her in. They were warm, deep brown, and full of an energy she hadn't seen before. He smiled at her, and the warmth in his smile made her heart flutter in a way she had never experienced. "I didn't think the festival would bring out someone like you," Ngozi replied, her voice betraying the intrigue she felt. The man chuckled softly, his eyes twinkling. "Perhaps the festival did not bring me here, but the winds of fate." He paused, as if considering her response carefully. "My name is Chijioke. I am a traveler from the neighboring kingdom of Oa." "Chijioke," she repeated, the name rolling off her tongue in a way that felt like destiny itself had whispered it into her ear. "What brings you to Umudike?" "I came in search of something," he said, his voice low, as though sharing a secret. "But it seems I found it." Ngozi raised an eyebrow, her curiosity piqued. "And what is it that you found?" Chijioke stepped closer, his gaze unwavering. "A woman with strength, grace, and the spirit of this kingdom in her heart." Her heart skipped a beat, but she masked it with a smile. "Flattery does not suit you, Chijioke." "No," he said with a soft laugh. "But the truth does." There was a moment of silence between them, one filled with an unspoken understanding. Something about him felt different. The way he looked at her made her feel seen, not just as the daughter of a chief, but as a person with her own dreams, struggles, and desires. The night went on, and as the drums echoed through the square, the two of them found themselves talking late into the evening. They shared stories of their childhoods, their dreams for the future, and their thoughts on love. Chijioke spoke of his travels, the places he had been, and the people he had met. He was a poet at heart, weaving stories with his words that felt both ancient and new. As the festival came to an end, Chijioke walked with Ngozi back to her father's compound. The stars above seemed to shine brighter as they spoke, their conversation flowing like the river that ran through the kingdom. When they reached the gates of her home, Ngozi stopped and turned to face him. "I didn't expect to meet someone like you tonight," she said softly. Chijioke smiled, his eyes filled with sincerity. "Sometimes, the most unexpected things are the ones worth having." He took a step closer, his presence both comforting and electrifying. "I'm not here to ask for anything, Ngozi. But I would like to see you again. To learn more about the woman who captured my heart with just her words." Her heart raced, and for the first time in years, she felt a spark of something real. "And if you never leave," she asked, half in jest, half in earnest. "Then I will have found what I came for," he replied, his voice steady, yet filled with a quiet promise. From that night on, Ngozi and Chijioke's connection deepened. They spent days walking through the kingdom, discussing their visions for a better world, sharing their hopes for the future. They learned from each other, growing together, their hearts intertwining like the roots of the great trees that surrounded Umudike. Chijioke admired Ngozi's strength and her dedication to her people, while she was drawn to his gentle spirit and the wisdom he carried from his travels. Over time, their bond became undeniable. They were not just two people in love, they were partners in every sense of the word. They dreamed of building something together, a life that would honor the traditions of Umudike while pushing forward into the future. Together, they would challenge the old ways, asking not what was given, but what could be achieved when two people worked toward a common vision. One evening, beneath the full moon, Chijioke took Ngozi's hand and knelt before her. "Ngozi, in all my travels, I have never found anything as beautiful as the love we share. Will you marry me, and allow me to walk by your side for the rest of our lives?" Tears welled in Ngozi's eyes as she smiled, her heart full. "Yes, Chijioke. Yes, I will." And so, Ngozi found love not in her prime, but in the moment when she least expected it, when she had finally embraced herself, her power, and her place in the world. Together with Chijioke, she would lead Umudike into a new era, where love, equality, and hope reigned. Their love was not a fairy tale, but a story of two hearts, two spirits, and a shared journey toward a brighter future. And in Umudike Kingdom, where the rivers whispered ancient tales, a new legend was born, one of love, resilience, and the magic that happens when two souls find each other in the prime of life.